It's a really exciting bonus edition here on Purple Ray. It's really exciting news. It's just so exciting. We have got coming next month the first ever PWHL Takeover weekend, where the Professional Women's Hockey League is going to take over 2 AHL markets that currently do not house PWHL teams. They are Detroit, the Mother City, and Pittsburgh, the Steel City. On the 16th and 17th of March, that's next month, as part of PWHL weekend. Now, we are seeing so far throughout the inaugural season quite a lot of neutral sites taking place. Obviously, we've had the battle on Bay Street, which we're going to recap. That's a bonus episode to come. Obviously, we're also cover the takeover games themselves as versus as well, so keep an eye on those next month. And also PWHL Minnesota is going to have a neutral site game at the home of the Minnesota Gophers at the end of February. That's what we'll be taking on. I believe it's PWHL Toronto we are hosting. But this as a whole, this is really I think this is really exciting and brilliant idea to try and, just to try and grow the league. Because we've already seen how the PWHL has taken off in these 6 markets. So naturally, the next step forward is to grow the game, is to grow the market, to grow the league. And to go in markets that are very rich in hockey. We know Detroit and Pittsburgh both are very rich in terms of their hockey history. These teams have been around for a while. Detroit, of course, is the original 6 team. Pittsburgh is one of the second 6, if you can call them that, because of course Pittsburgh was part of those 6 teams. That was the first expansion lot all the way back in 1967. So these 2 are definitely rich markets in terms of hockey. Could they maybe one day be considered as PWHL markets? I don't know. But I don't think that's what this weekend is about. I don't think that's what weekend's about. Because I think right now, as much as we'd like to consider, well, maybe so-and-so could be next on the list and so forth, maybe come from expansion. But I think right now, expansion's not on the table. Right now, expansion is not really something to consider the PWHL. We need to establish the league first before we start adding new teams in. Okay. So I don't think that's what this weekend is all about. But I think it's really good that we're going to be taking over these markets, which is going to be really amazing, and I'm just so excited by it. And when I heard this was happening, I heard about it on social media. I was like, oh my god, this is just so exciting. Because I can't remember where, but I do remember at one point, the lead up to the season starting, I do remember seeing somewhere, and I think it was way before schedules were announced, I do remember reading somewhere that there was a possibility of maybe potentially looking at playing some games in the league in neutral sites. So neutral venues were always something that I think was being considered. It's just when we got the schedules out, it was like, oh, okay, maybe that's something for next season, along with team names. Because of course we don't need to do everything in year 1. Okay, especially if it's not right. Because let's get everything right, and then we can take it from there. So I thought, maybe they looked at it and thought, actually, maybe it's something better to maybe do next season when we're more up and running and in a more traditional hockey schedule. So I was actually quite surprised to hear that we've got these neutral site games being announced. So pretty great. The Toronto and Montreal game, the battle on Bay Street, I don't think you can really call that a neutral venue because that is technically, because even though PWHL Toronto doesn't play at Scotiabank, it is technically in Toronto. So all you've done is basically what PWHL New York are doing throughout the season, you're swapping out your main home arena for the NHL arena. Because PWHL New York are going to take a couple of games at the Islanders' home, so that you couldn't really count as a takeover. It's just you've swapped around venues. That's what it is. Same with us with Minnesota in a few days' time. Right, but the weekend in March, that is when the takeover is going to be happening. So we've got March 16th and the 17th. So let's run through the details. So first up, it will be. So first up, we have on the 16th of March, PWHL Ottawa and PWHL Boston will play at Little Caesars Arena at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So that, of course, is the home of the Detroit Red Wings, which, of course, has been their home since, I believe, the 17-18 season. So that's going to be great to see that. So that's just a perfect venue to house this matchup. You've got Boston, and of course the history between Boston and Detroit. Even though obviously Detroit has not got a PWHL team in, Detroit and Boston both original 16 in the NHL. They've had there's been plenty of matchups early years. So if any Detroit locals are going to be going to this game, it'll be very interesting to see who they're going to side with. It might be home ice advantage Ottawa because of. Oh, in fact, let's see who's the designated home team. Should look that up, shouldn't I? Yeah. I mean, you never know. Maybe some Detroit locals might choose to side with Boston. You never know. But I'm thinking, given how the relationship between Boston and Detroit is in the NHL all these years, I'm just thinking, would you get Detroit fans siding with PWHL Boston? I don't know. Yeah, so for that game. Yeah, Detroit's Boston now! Oh my! Wow. Okay, yeah, that's really great. And on the next day, so on the 17th of March at 12:30 Eastern, we'll be at the what's it called? Oh no, sorry, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's 12:30 Eastern, Western time. Sorry, because yesterday I watched obviously PWHL Minnesota holds Ottawa, and they kept promoting the takeover, so the times were probably in Central Time, so that's why I got confused there. It's 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. On March the 7th. Oh no, that's right. No, sorry. Oh god, sorry. No, it is. They've included our game as well. Right, sorry. No, I was right. Right, I was right the first time. Oh my god. There's a lot going. Right, so I was right the first time. Right, no. So March the 17th at 12:30. At 12:30. Got Montreal. So that's the second neutral site game for these two clubs. Although technically you can't really count the first one as a neutral round because it is in Toronto, and Toronto will be the home team. For that match on March the 17th, Toronto will be the designated road team, and Montreal will be the designated home team. Be interested to see who the Pittsburgh fans would side with, because obviously these two teams in the AHL are conference rivals with the Penguins, but they're not division rivals with the Penguins. So they don't see the Penguins that often. But no, I mean, if I was a Pittsburgh fan and I was going, I probably would be tempted to just go with both sides. You know, but yeah, so that's gonna be. I think that's the more neutral venue than Detroit is, because obviously Detroit, I don't think Detroit fans are going to side with Boston. But you never know. You never know. I might be proven wrong. That's gonna be really interesting. So yeah, so it's really interesting. They've gone for two rich hockey markets, both Eastern though. I mean, come on. Surely one of them could have maybe gone out west, eh? Cock in the air miles. You know? If the PWHL ever does expand, we need more Western markets. Just so Minnesota can have a little bit more, can have less trouble to do. Just think like that. If we ever do expand one day, let's get some more Western markets in. Yeah. So speaking of Minnesota, the 3:30 p.m. Eastern time I was mentioning is regarding to our game on March the 16th at XL Center when your PWHL Minnesota will host PWHL New York. Now, sadly, right, because when this got announced, when I saw on social media these neutral games, this takeover was being announced, I wanted to look, oh, is PWHL Minnesota playing that weekend? Looked it up. We're at home. I'm against New York. So I'm like, okay, so why can't PWHL Minnesota and PWHL New York be involved as well? Because technically, I've already had arguments for this about this, okay? I've already gone into an argument with Locked On AHL about this, okay? So I've already had arguments about this, okay? The point I need to make clear is XL Energy Center is not just the home of the Minnesota Wild, but it's also the home venue this year for PWHL Minnesota. So the XL Energy Center is not just the Wild's home, it's also our home. So technically, that's not really classed as a takeover. It's like if it was the other way around and PWHL New York was hosting this at UBS Arena. That's not classed as a takeover because PWHL New York do play a few of their games there. Okay, so that's okay. You could argue if it was the other way around, going Madison Square Garden, but then again, that's New York territory. Yeah. But the only way it would work if it's Minnesota at New York is if it went to New Jersey. That's the only way it would work. But the point I need to try and make here is that XL Center is already our home arena. So it's not class of take. Because the idea behind this weekend is we are taking over AHL venues in markets that currently do not have a PHL team. So we're in Detroit, we're in Pittsburgh. Both got rich AHL history, yet to have PWHL hockey. Who knows? They might one day. Who knows? But that's not what this is around. Okay. So the fact that, obviously, we are still going to be playing New York on March 16th at 3:30 Eastern, as already planned as part of the regular season schedule, it makes me feel a bit like being left out. Now, I don't think I've ever really experienced, as the youths say, FOMO before. But I probably will, for definite, on March the 16th. Because I'll be watching our game thinking, we I'm just NHL arenas that could have potentially hosted this matchup, and they didn't bite. They didn't bite. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make, I can't stress it enough. See, I'm even banging on my desk. I'm even banging on my desk. I'm trying to home it in. I cannot stress enough. XL Energy Center is already our home arena. So therefore, that does not count as a takeover. You can't take over what is already your home. And yes, we have got a neutral site game coming up, but that is not. But that is being in a university campus. It's not an AHL venue. For me, I really loved it. Because me, I'm all for the PWHL exploring neutral venue sites. I think I might say this for another time. I think that every team each season should have at least one or maybe two games, because obviously next year we're going to go from 12 to 16 home games. So next year you could afford to do it more. This year you could, because this year's only 12 home games. But just saying, I think that from next year, every team should have at least one or maybe two home games at neutral sites. And at least one of them should be in an NHL arena that is not in a market of a PWHL team. But so I think it's a real shame, because this was a good idea. Take this PWHL Takeover. It's a good idea, but the execution is poor. Because if you wanted to execute this properly, then you would have had all 6 teams, because all 6 teams are going to be playing across that weekend. And it's March. Yeah, so you got the 2 on March 16th, and then March the 17th is the lone one. So all 6 teams are playing across that weekend. 4 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday. In terms of teams, that is. Okay. Maybe. For PWHL Minnesota and PWHL New York, that's not in Excitment Center. Because both Boston and Montreal have each had to give up one home game. Because this year, they got 12 home games each. So Montreal and Boston have already had to give up one home game each. And I will not blame PWHL Boston or PWHL Montreal players as a while ago us for saying, you're so lucky you got to play all your home games in Minnesota and Arena. I wouldn't blame you. Okay. I wouldn't blame you. But I am going to feel like we're left out. Because you've gone for a weekend where all the leagues in play, but you haven't involved all the league. Which is a bit disappointing. It really, really is disappointing. It's a good idea, but yeah, just anyway. Right, I'll just wait read through this before we go. I'll read some of the thoughts on it. So, here we go. So, bringing these games to 3 outstanding venues, sorry, 2, during Women's History Month will create an unforgettable highlight of the inaugural PWHL season, said Jenny Hufford, PWHL Senior Vice President of Hockey Operations. For fans attending these games and players who are competing on the ice, this will be a great celebration of the advancement and opportunity for women and hockey everywhere. We're thrilled to partner with the PWHL and to welcome Boston and Ottawa to Little Caesars Arena on March 16. Said Ryan Goldstein, Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer, Edith Sports Plus Entertainment. It's been exciting to see the success of the PWHL, and we're honoured for the opportunity to put on a great event for our fans and support growing the game of hockey for young women. We are thrilled to host the PWHL in Pittsburgh to celebrate the continued growth of women's professional hockey, said Kevin Acklin, Penguins President of Business Operations. The entire Penguins organization is committed to championing the growth of our game, and we are excited to host the Montreal and Toronto women's clubs in March at PBT Pates Arena to showcase their elite talent in front of our Penguins fan base. So tickets, of course, are already on sale. Now, these two sites already had previous experience in hosting men's hockey. On February 17th, 2019, Little Caesars Arena hosted the third game of the inaugural rivalry series between the Canadian national men's hockey team and the US national men's hockey team. So 10 players from that game will return as members of the PWHL, including Boston's Hannah Radnick, Harry Knight, Gigi Marvin, Sydney Morin, and Amanda Pelkney, who all competed as members of Team USA. Ottawa's Savannah Harmon and Hayes were also on Team USA, and Brienne Jenner, Emira's McNamara, and Jamie Lee Ratney suited up for Canada. And Jenner scored the winning goal in the 2-0 victory with a crowd of 9,048 attendance of them. Of looking into PWHL Boston, Sheehan Ducknotter, Taylor Gordy, and Megan Keller are all Michigan natives. On March 12, 2022, PWHL Paints Arena hosted the rivalry rematch game organised by the PWHPA in partnership with the Penguins, featuring members of the US and Canadian national women's hockey teams. Following the Beijing Olympics, a total of 30 PWHL players were in the game, including Montreal's Erin Ambrose, Mehdi Doros, and Renee Despiens, Marie-Philippe Poulin, and Laura Stacey, who all won 2022 Olympic gold with Canada. Toronto players who competed were Canadian Olympic gold medalists Kristen Campbell, Renee Fast, Jocelyn Rockrook, Sarah Nurse, Natalie Spooner, and Blair Turnbull. A total of 5,410 fans were in attendance to take in the action, with Team Canada defeating USA 3-2 on a time goal by Poulin. Last season, the Penguins partnered with the PWHPA and PHF to host events at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. Prior to the PWHL season, Montreal head coach Corey Chevron served as a guest coach for Penguins development camp and training camp. Okay, so Pittsburgh's really huge. Surely the one there's going to be a team in Pittsburgh, given how they are hosting events like that. So I think based on that, Pittsburgh one day might be in for a shout. Detroit, we'll see. But no, this is a great idea. Don't go wrong, this is a great idea. And I'm very looking forward to seeing how this goes down. I'm looking forward to cover them on the show. But why could you not have just stretched it to also include Minnesota and New York? Sure, you could have picked a Western market that would have worked just as well as Detroit and Pittsburgh have. Oh well. Maybe next season, eh? Let's start the campaign now. Minnesota and New York in San Jose next year. Let's start the campaign now. We'll get it working. We'll see. But it's a great idea. I'm really forward to seeing how this goes, and I will look forward to covering it as well. But why could you not have just featured Minnesota and New York as well, like in a Western market that hasn't got PHL in it? Now we could have had all 16 in neutral sites. There would have been a proper PHL takeover weekend. But still, I am excited for it. I really am excited for it. Let's see how this goes down. I'm really looking forward to it. Just wish Minnesota was included.